Hi, it's Michael Dermer, and in this lesson, we're going to be talking about how to hire sales professionals. Early in your entrepreneurial venture, bringing on that key resource that's going to generate revenue is really essential. So we're going to spend some time talking about that today. So let's get into the details. So how do you hire salespeople? The one thing that makes it so difficult to hire salespeople is that they're salespeople, right? They're selling. That's what they do for a living. So that means they sell themselves. So oftentimes, right, in a short interview, especially when we as the entrepreneur are under pressure, right, it's easy to sell to us, right? Somebody can say to me, I can generate $1 million of new revenue to you, and we go, yep, I want that, right? But we're so passionate about what we're doing. So how do you actually develop some skills and techniques? Because remember, these are critical hires for what you're going to do, okay? So first is cultural fit. Okay? Remember, going into an entrepreneurial venture is very different from going to work for Oracle, for example. How do you know they're going to fit your culture, right? Try to expose them to a little bit and ask them these types of open-ended questions that give you a sense of things that they're going to think about when they come to work every day, right? Tell them a little bit about the environment. Say, hey, this is the way our team came together. What do you think about it? Or say things like, if you won the lottery, what would you do? Well, there's nothing wrong with going to sit on the beach if you've won the lottery. You really want people that wake up and go, I want to be passionate about something that I'm selling, okay? So try to ask them questions that give you a sense of whether they're going to fit into your particular type of culture. And part of that culture is an entrepreneurial culture, right? If they want all the process and structure in the world, chances are they're not going to be a cultural fit, right, in a small, dynamic entrepreneurial venture, okay? Next is work ethic and their ambition. Okay? When you're building a company and you're building your baby, right, you need people that are in it with you. You need people that are waking up thinking about it. You need people that are there on the weekends, okay? And so here's a couple of specific things about how to identify. One is strategy versus execution, okay? There's a lot of people that will talk, right? There's less people that will actually do, okay? There's a lot of people that consider themselves strategists. And don't get me wrong, every business needs a good strategy. But you can't hire people that only think, right? They've got to be able to take that thought and execute it. So you want to ask them questions that get into that. And if you hear answers like, I'm willing to go do that, versus, yeah, I'd love to go do that, those tell you very, very different types of things, okay? Next is their career ambitions, right? You want to have people that are self-motivated and driven to achieve, right? You want to have people that want to get outside of their comfort zone, that go to an entrepreneurial venture and say, hey, listen, I'm a salesperson today, but I want to run a sales team. I'm a salesperson today, but I actually want to start my own company at some point. You want people that have career ambitions beyond just selling things to people, okay? Next is, okay, you have somebody in and hopefully you've evaluated a little bit about whether they'll fit in your culture, right? And you've said, okay, I think I have a sense of their work ethic, right? And whether they're going to get down and dirty with me. But next is, okay, let's validate some of the things they say. By the way, every single resume for every single sales professional says that they beat their numbers, right? Because nobody would put on there, I fell 20% short of my numbers. It wouldn't make it on your resume. So how do you validate that? So first of all, ask the person themselves very specific questions, okay? Boil it down to not, I hit 110% of quota. Say, okay, what was your biggest customer, okay? What level of customers did you lose, and how did you go about achieving that number, right? What time of year did you beat your quota? You said it was 110%. When did you hit it? Did you hit it in September? Did you hit it in October? Ask them very specific questions, okay? Ask for references that know how they perform, okay? Push those references. Don't ask general questions. Say, how did they hit their numbers? When did they hit their numbers? Have they hit their numbers every year that they're there? You will know the answer in 2 seconds after you ask them. Because if they stumble and say, well, yes, this year you hit his number, but last year they didn't, or this year you hit their number, but the company wasn't doing that well last year, you'll know that there's a reason why this year's numbers were on there, but last year's weren't, okay? So you really have to validate the numbers not only with the individual person, but also with third parties that have managed our work for those folks, okay? Next is ask to talk to customers, right? If somebody's a really good professional and they're really as great as they say they are on their resume, they should love the opportunity for you to talk to one of their customers, right? If they go, well, there's confidentiality involved, and well, I don't really think that that's appropriate, as opposed to, sure, I'd be happy to. They'd love to talk to you. These things tell you whether this person who tells you is going to make you all this money is ultimately going to help you do that, okay? Next is you have to test their industry knowledge, okay? Remember, as an entrepreneur, sometimes we're looking to bring in any resource we can, right? We have to resist that, and we have to say, okay, if we're in the filmmaking industry, I'm really going to test your knowledge about filmmaking. I might do it, or I might bring in someone else that's even more experienced than me to ask them really probing questions about whether they really understand the industry. Now, don't get me wrong. There's sometimes salespeople that you can hire that don't come from your industry, but more often than not, you want to get people that you're not going to teach the industry, but come to the table knowing what they need to know about the industry, okay? Next is, how do they learn? Right? Are these people that as part of an entrepreneurial culture that are going to learn and grow and become even better at what they're doing? Okay? So what you're really trying to figure out is you're really trying to figure out the DNA of these particular salespeople. Finally, one of the most important things that you can do is to see them in action. Okay? You should go back after the interview, okay? And I want you a half hour from now, right? I want you to leave me a voicemail message. A half hour from now, I want you to send me an email message about how you would sell our service to me. Okay? Actually test them, see them in action along the way. Okay? That will show you, right, exactly how they do on the fly. And what you want to do is you want to catch them off guard, right? You might say to them, sell that to me right now. Tell me right now how you would sell this product or service to me. Okay? Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to do it in a way that it's not all polished and prepared. Good sales professionals will come to meetings and interviews prepared. They will know enough about your product, okay? And what you want to do is actually see them in action on the fly, not when everything's comfortable and perfect, right? But perhaps when they haven't had all the time to prepare. You really want to see their talent come out, okay? I'd be lying to you if I told you that hiring people is a science. It is much more of an art, okay? But hopefully by using some of the tools and techniques that this hire that is so important to growing your business, you have a better chance of success. Okay. In addition to this video, we've got a bunch of information and tips that lay a bunch of these points out for you in detail, side by side with the video for this lesson.